Yes, you read the title correctly. Sinclair might actually just have the best base ego out of any of the sinners. Sinclair's base ego, branch of knowledge, is a Zayn class ego, as all the egos that are base are. It has a slash damage type and a whopping 14 plus 15 roll. So that is a 29 roll on a Zayn, on a base Zayn ego. That is pretty crazy. It beats any of the other base Zayans, absolutely destroys anyone that we've covered so far, and it is pretty good roll even for Tefs. But that's not where this ego stops. On heads hit, inflict 12 rupture potency. That is a lot. And you lose 10 SP but gain 1 attack power up next turn. That is good. That is really good. If you don't know what attack power up does, it pretty much gives you the amount of potency you have, but turn that into extra power on your final skill. So let's say you use this and you roll a 29, and then you use it next turn. Since you have the attack power up next turn, you will be doing 29 plus 1, so that would be 30. You'd be rolling a 30 instead of a 29. So when you hit tails, you'll gain 10 SP and 1 protection next turn. Now, this is very interesting because you have a heads hit condition and you have a tails hit condition. I don't think many other egos have that. Maybe 2 or 3, but it's very rare. It's very unique that it's on a base ego too. Now, there's a pretty interesting passive on this ego, unstable. If you land a coin and it hits heads and then tails, or tails and then heads, which pretty much means if you get one coin and then you get the opposite coin right afterwards, you'll lose 5 SP and gain 1 damage up this turn, to a maximum of 3 times per turn. So, maximum you could lose 15 SP, but gain 3 damage up this turn, which, honestly, I don't think is the best trade-off, unless you're rocking E.G.O Sinclair, which, I mean, why wouldn't you? He's probably one of the best, if not the best, ID in the game. But E.G.O Sinclair kinda has a problem with his ego, because it costs 1 wrath, which he can fuel, but it costs 3 gluttony, which he cannot. It costs 10 sanity too, but E.G.O Sinclair, he does not really care about the sanity. But maybe he'll care about the resistances, that making you 2 times fatal to wrath, 0.75 endured to gluttony, and 2 times fatal to pierce, or pride I mean. So it will make you overall a little more weaker, as pretty much every Zayn does, which is the trade-off for using a Zayn ego, right? Big roll, bad resistances. That's fair. Well, to top it off, this drip factor of this ego is pretty much non-existent. Honestly, might have to give it a like 1. This is probably one of the worst looking egos in my opinion. The weapon's cool, but we're not basing it off of the weapon. We're basing it off of the drip, and he just doesn't have it. And the strength is very good, and rupture, and makes you better next turn. So that's all that Zayans are concerned. That is probably a 10 out of 10, because that is the strongest Zayn that we have, at least so far. And the usefulness of this ego, it is pretty good. I mean, it's cheap for a high roll. You can gain or lose sanity. You can gain protection or extra damage or attack power up next turn. But you could also lose sanity, and you can inflict 12 rupture, which is a lot. If you're running a rupture team and you smack 12 rupture on like 5 counts, oh boy, you'll be doing quite a bit of damage. So I think it's fairly useful. Put it at like 6, 7. 6.5. It's not the most useful ego in the world, but it is very good, especially for a Zayan, a base Zayan, nonetheless. But yeah, this is probably no, not probably. This is the best Zayan E.G.O for any base of the Sinners. Well, maybe I'll change my mind covering another one, but I doubt it. So have a good one.